NBC TV 18 exclusive interview. The Supreme Court's order asking the telecom regulator TRAI, rather it was not an order but rather a Supreme Court observation. I would like to clarify this juncture. It was just an observation made by the Supreme Court that would it be possible for the telecom regulator to reconsider the decision to penalize telcos for call drops if a partial rollback is possible at all. This was the observation made by Supreme Court yesterday on the Delhi High Court order upholding that penalty of ₹1 for every call drop. So what can we expect the regulator to do? What is the possible next plan of action? Is it open to the idea of reducing the penalty or reviewing the penalty? In an exclusive interview with CNBC TV 18's Shereen, Bhan, TRAI Chairman RS Sharma says regulators will comply with the Apex Court's order. As far as the contentious spectrum auction goes that's coming up, the chairman reiterated they will not cut the reserve price.
It is a matter pending in the court, and whatever arguments will be made on the side of from behalf of TRAI will be made in the court of law. We are going to conduct another test in the next month, that is month of April, and we'll find out, because we do periodic tests in a number of cities, and the last time we did in 7 of them, and we'll find out whether there has been any significant improvement or not. As you rightly said, there was no improvement when the tests were done in December.
Then move on and talk to you about another issue which is not pending before the Supreme Court, at least not yet. And that is the issue as far as the auction is concerned and the pricing for the 700 megahertz band. Has there been any further conversation between you and the government? Because again, reports seem to suggest that the DOT panel has found some issues with the methodology that has been deployed as far as the 700 megahertz pricing is concerned.
Well, to my knowledge, we have not got any reference back from the DOT as of now. When the TRAI makes such recommendations relating to reserve prices, we carry out a very detailed consultation process, and the same was done. And we also had an open house discussion in which various views were expressed about the, whether to auction or not to auction and what kind of reserve price should be set up. So essentially, this whole process of the recommendation has been done after consulting all these stakeholders. Telecom service providers are certainly the most important stakeholders in the spectrum auction. And we had, as I was saying to you, that we had consulted every telecom service provider, we have consulted every stakeholder.
And they didn't say
no,
that...
They have, ultimately in a consultation process and this kind of recommendation, one has to consider the overall sort of inputs from everybody, and that's what we have done.
So is there room, sir, for the TRAI to review this, given the negative feedback that you're getting from, as you yourself just pointed out, the most important stakeholders in this matter?
Well, negative feedback should not be a reason enough for us to review, because feedback
let me say that they're saying that the pricing isn't realistic.
It's not they versus TRAI. Essentially, there is a set rule for, sort of review of these recommendations by TRAI, which is essentially when the government, will give us a back reference. If there is any reference, we will consider it as per the set practices and procedures.